But
Yeah.
there are some people out there that are taking the bull by the horn and go, man, I see this new evolution of what's going on in these businesses. And I get phone calls from people all the time. And you see, that's another thing too. This is what's so wonderful about our industry is that people can pick up the phone and call. I remember when we were trying to build Grand Station, I picked up the phone and I called people that they didn't know me and I didn't know them, but I knew they were successful. And this is what I want. I want to pick their brain. I want to ask questions.
Yeah.
And everybody likes to talk about themselves. That's
Right.
my favorite subject, right?
Of course. Yeah. Especially if they're doing well.
Exactly. Everybody wants to talk about that. And it's like, all you got to do is just take their ideas and listen to what they do, what they did wrong or what they didn't, or what they did. And like I said, you pay it forward.
Great. So thanks again for coming on, Mike. I really appreciate you taking some time. I'm looking forward to this conversation. For the people who have not had a chance to meet you, tell me a little bit about you and maybe your center.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Mike Logan. I've been in the business since 1978. I started off with my grandfather's bowling alley back in Lufkin, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Progressed from there, moved all over, moved to California for a couple of years, came back, helped my uncle manage a center in Huntsville, Texas. Ran that one for a while, and then I took that over in 1996. Decided in about early 2000s that I saw the wave, what was going on, and the trend in our industry was going to more FECs. I drove by, said, this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. My wife and I decided that we were going to build here in Bryan College Station. We figured at the time it was a great market for us. We came in and took over an existing center. It was a former Lowe's building. They had 40 bowling lanes and a skating rink. We didn't see the skating rink being a very viable revenue stream for us. We took that out, basically spent about $2.5 million on renovations, cleaned the place up. And that was in 2000. Since 2007, the revenue they were making with the business model that we came in, we're 5 times the revenue right now.
Wow.
It's not, we saw, and a matter of fact, it's one of these things too, is that I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. One, the food in our industry right now, it's a big, huge revenue stream if it's done correctly.
Yes, it is.
Did not do that correctly. So I'm playing catch up right now. It's starting to do very well for us. The game room, it was an also thought. We said, okay, well, look, I had a friend of mine who was an operator for video games. I said, hey, I need you to go out and borrow some money. I said, but I don't want you to go into your warehouse and clean off a bunch of games and bring them into this place. It didn't take me but maybe 4 or 5 months to realize, because I controlled it with the game card system that I had.
Okay.
And I was writing him a check for $5,000 a week. And I'm going, whoa, serious. Anyway, that was 15 years ago. And what we've done now is that we made an offer to him he couldn't refuse. And basically we bought him out. And from there, it's just been absolutely crazy.
Wow.
And believe it or not, and I don't want to go too far ahead, but my game room, the game room that we have right now, I have a 40-lane center with about 800 league bowlers right now, packed every Friday and Saturday night with a wait list of at least about a half-hour wait list.
Yeah, open play on the Friday, Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, yes, and Sunday. Okay. The game room we have right now does more in revenue than that.
Wow.
That was something I did not see.
Yeah. Wow.
And also getting involved with we have a group of guys that we form called the FEC 20 group. It's a family entertainment center. From all over the country, we get together probably 2 or 3 times a year. We do a lot of Zoom calls. I haven't been on a Zoom call in a while because of this COVID thing, but I'm starting to get back into it now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's really a great group of guys. We talk about best business practice. We talk about different promotions that are going up. Everybody recycles ideas. I like that we were the first person that came up with all these great ideas, but no, we all recycle them, just like any other industry. So,
of course. Yeah.
So that's kind of my story from start almost to the finish and where we are today. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's dive into a little bit of that transformation. First, let's take a step back. So you said you were in the bowling industry before. It was within the family, you said?
Yes.
What center you were with? What center, and what was the relationship again?
It was called Lufkin Lanes. I graduated from high school in Memphis, Tennessee. Wasn't in the bowling industry at all. And I said, you know what? I want to go to work in Lufkin, Texas, of all places.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went down there, spent a couple of years there, went to school, and then I worked for the family, my grandfather. And anyway, I got to bowl a lot, and I became a pro bowler after about 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is great.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long to realize there's a lot more money on my side of the counter right now than there was in
Right.
the bowling industry.
Of
Unfortunately,
course.
that's the way it is, unless you're in the
Yeah.
top 4 or 5 bowlers in the
Yeah.
country. So anyway, so we just,
Mhm.
I went there, and then my grandfather bought a center in San Antonio, or I'm sorry, Santa Ana, California.
Okay.
And so we moved there for a couple of years, managed a center there, then wanted to get out of California because back in the early 80s, even trying to rent a place there, God, the money we were spending to rent, we could live like kings back in Texas.
Yeah.
So I met my wife and I drug her all the way from California to Huntsville, Texas.
Oh, wow.
That was quite a culture shock for her.
I'm sure.
It took her about a year to realize now she loves Texas.
That's
We
great.
love that.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, let's go through a little bit of the transformation, because you said obviously things are a little bit different than when you first started. To walk me through a little bit about when you acquired your center and you went from maybe a more of a traditional style to where you are today, more towards the FEC.
Yes. I realized too that the business was so much different back then. It was so league dependent.
Yep.
And I hated, April and May, because that was the time you're getting ready for the summer leagues and you went out and twisted arms and no one wants to bowl. They just committed to 35 weeks and they finished it up, and they don't want to bowl another 13 weeks in the summertime.
Right.
So it was really tough to transition, and the whole center's revenue stream was based on league play. And then come up in June and July, then you're always trying to figure out some different ideas for the fall league, start back up in September. And I just hated that. I did it, but I just really didn't like it.
Yeah.
And even back then, 25 years ago, you started seeing a trend that league bowling was going down. Okay. There wasn't as many lady leagues anymore.
Yep.
A lot of the leagues were starting to diminish. You didn't have the league numbers that you had in the previous. And so we decided that we got to figure out different ways of getting revenue streams. And of course, living where I did, I was close to the Houston market, and even in the San Antonio, Austin area, you started seeing these things called the main events.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's like, man, I need to look at that a little more closely.
Yeah.
Of course, the market I was in Huntsville, Texas, the town of 24,000 people, that didn't have, they didn't have the market for what we were trying to do. So
Sure.
it's ironic is that a friend of mine went to work for a place called Alley Cats up in Dallas, in Arlington, Texas. He showed me what he was doing. It's, oh my God, I could not believe the revenue that they were bringing in.
Oh, yeah.
This is phenomenal. And another friend of mine at the same time had a center in Conroe, Texas, opened one up in Katy, Texas. There again, oh, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I get one of these. So anyway, we're going to do a ground up construction. It took 2 years. We're going to build one in Bryan, Texas. And we were having all kinds of issues trying to get funding for it. And then the lady down the street had a place called Wolfpin Bowl, old traditional bowling. Made her an offer. She goes, nah, I didn't want to do it. So after about 2 years, I was just getting ready to build. And she says, okay, I want to sell. So I went down there, and it made so much more sense. We got a 70,000 square foot building.
Wow.
And saved $2.5 million. That was an absolute no brainer.
Yeah. And all the machines. Yeah. Everything.
Yeah. But let me tell you, and since we've done that, we've been able to upgrade almost every single thing inside that center. I'm very proud. We're very proud of the center that we built. We've replaced 40 old bowling lanes, machines, and the lanes, everything. We fixed up, cleaned it up. It's a very clean. I'm very proud. Like I said, very proud of the fact that what we got right now, we're sitting at about 130 employees right now.
Wow.
In a center. And it's like, you don't see many centers operating with that many.
That's very large. Yeah. That's very large. Wow.
So, but anyway, we're just pleased as bunch to be here, and our business just keeps growing and evolving and things like that. We've got, I like to think that we're in a good position because the center that we're in right now, we do a good of taking care of our customers and our guests and the community. We got a great relationship with the community. And the biggest fear is someone else is going to come in. They may, but I think we do such a good job. I think it helps deter some of the people. The town is big enough to support one of us. I don't think it's going to be enough to support two of us. At least not yet. Not yet. I think we do a really good job, and some would come in, but gosh, in the bill what we have, it's going to cost them 15, 16 million.
Right.
Are they going to, they'll peel off some of what we have, but I don't think they're going to do the numbers that they want.
Yeah.
Anyway, as long as we take care of our customers and keep doing what we're doing, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see too many towns that can sustain more than one center, really. It's pretty tough unless you're a large metro.
Yeah. And we're not there yet.
So tell me a little bit about maybe some of the product line switches, or how do you assess going for the arcade games or whatever else you have to offer? What does that process look like? Is it a profit per square foot assessment, or how do you make those decisions and move in that direction? What did that look like?
Like I said, belonging to the organization I belong with, the FEC group, we go out there and we look and we get a lot of products that are out there right now that are very successful. It's, okay, if this certain game is doing well up in the Midwest, it's probably going to do well here in Texas also.
Yeah.
Every now and then you won't hit a home run, but most of the time, because of the history and some of the games that are coming out, we get those things.
Yeah.
I wasn't real focused on that as much because I said coming from traditional bowling, I was still concentrating on the bowling end of it. It was going to be an additional revenue stream. Same with the bowl, with the cafe. It was more of a glorified, it was a snack bar, a bowling alley snack bar. But since then, we educate ourselves, we keep involved, and we network a lot within the industry. Yeah. And find out the trends, what's going on. We've hired a local social engineering social company that comes in and manages our website, our Facebook, all this stuff.
Yeah. Have you found that to be helpful?
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot. It's pretty expensive, but I tell you what, we were spending, gosh, I can't even tell you how much we were spending in advertising every year with radio and TV. And we've cut that out. And now all we do is social media and really take care of that. The website we have is a really good website page. That's always evolving. We're getting ready to redo another one, and everybody's going, it's a pretty good website as it is, but we're going to.
I saw it. Yeah, it's good.
We always have to keep evolving. Same with our Facebook and of course, I'm 65 years old and I don't know TikTok. I don't know hashtags. I don't pay attention to those things, but that seems to be a pretty good marketing trend. And a lot of people use that. So my staff, you use it too, right?
That's what we do. Yeah. So we've tried everything, and that is really all that we've seen work. That in Google, making sure you're in the search engine, right?
Oh yeah.
That's the stuff that matters. Everything else I haven't seen move the needle as much.
No, this really does. And not only do we maintain the website, the Facebook page, and things like that, but we also spend the money with the Google. And so to do some more advertising and things like that. And it does help the geofencing, they call it, where they go in. And so when you come into our town, what to do in Bryan College Station, Greenwich Station is always at the top of the search engines. So when people come in, they see we like to talk to people when they come in. You can see when they're from out of town. Ask them how to hear about it. They go to their Facebook.
Exactly.
That's where a lot of people get that's where it is. They're not, I can spend a lot of money on the channel, on the 10 o'clock news for a 30-second spot. That doesn't move the needle as much as this other does.
Exactly. That's where the people are today. They're on their phones. They do studies. The average person's on there 4 hours a day, at least. Some people are more, some people are,
Yeah. We do a lot with the community too. We've started this new project. I'm telling you what, it's fantastic. Basically it's nothing anybody else hasn't ever done. But we're doing it maybe in a different way. It's a spirit day. So I'm sure you guys have heard of that before with the schools.
No.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
What we've done with PTOs and a lot of the bands and different organizations within the schools, we offer them 2 times a week they can do this thing. And from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning, we let them set up a little booth. They come into our place. They pay $15. That's unlimited bowling, laser tag, and mini golf.
Okay.
So they come in, they keep $5 and we keep $10. And they'll bring in their families. On an average, we get about 100 people for each organization. They are just tickled pink. They make $500 in a day. And let me tell you, a lot of them still do. They go to the different, like the Chili's or the different restaurants. They go there. And if you go in on a Tuesday night from 6 to 8, 10% of your deal goes to the school. At the most, they make $100, $150 for that. Okay. They come to our place one time and boom, it's $500. And they absolutely love it. And so we are getting more and more. We're almost booked all the way every Saturday. And we also do it on Monday evening because that's a slow night for leagues. Yeah. So we do it on Monday evenings. Same thing. They average about 100 people, sometimes 75, 80.
Year round? Or is that just seasonal?
Especially like right now, we have the bands are starting to they're looking for fundraisers. We got a local high school band. They're looking for fundraisers. They come in and boom, they do this thing. And then also too, we turn around and we also support them through their own, if they have a yearbook or they got any other type of advertising, they're looking to promote their deal. Yeah. We work with them on that. We have a great relationship within the community. As a matter of fact, that's part of our mission statement is to get involved with the local community. And so far it's worked hand in hand, and it's a great relationship we have with a lot of the schools and things like that too. So. Right.
Yeah, that's pretty tough to unseat, and I'm sure everybody wins then. Who's come in, they're raising money for good causes, and then they're having a good time, and you guys are making money too. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So what else do you see in the work today? You said you have the games, community involvement. What are some other things you guys are doing that you're seeing work really well in your center?
The other day, my staff, like I said, we have 130 employees and we divide them up into departments. Okay. We have
Okay.
the bowl department. We've got the arcade department or the games department. We've got the food and beverage department. We've got the facilities, which is the game or the mechanics, things like that.
Yeah.
Each department has its own. What they do with that is they have some competition between them.
Okay.
The other night, this on an early Sunday morning before we opened, we had 20 people that work in our bowl department, shift leaders, and things like that. So there was 4 shift leaders or 5 shift leaders, and they made 4 teams or 5 teams out of it, 4 on a team. And they had a little friendly competition between them. They all lined up and they went out there and they divided up into 5 and they assigned one person to be the bowler. Okay. And they all had to start at the same time. And if you got a strike, you got to go back. You had to run back to the game room and shoot in the basketball goal. And you had to make 5 baskets. And then once you did that, then you went over into the bar area in the cornhole game and you had to make 3 cornhole strikes. And then once you did that, then you had to go to the front and you got a little bartender spoon, which is a really small spoon. And you got a little plastic egg on it. And you had to walk the concourse with that egg all the way to the finish line. Oh my, they videoed it and the kids were just absolutely hooting and hollering. It was a great time. I think as far as bonding as a team, they loved it. And I said, my manager came with this idea. I said, that's great. And then my mechanics did the same thing too. We have 6 mechanics. We got a facilities guy. We have a head mechanic. And then they divided the teams into 2. And they made up this list. Okay, of all these different problems. They created this scenario. They had to go out of town to go somewhere to an event, and we just had and the criteria said that we had a lock in the night before. We got 8 machines down, and we've got another buyout group coming in on Saturday morning. You got 1 hour, and here's what you got to do. And they gave me like 8 different calls to fix.
Yeah,
but it wasn't just like that. They turned the music way up loud. Okay. They put headsets on there and they were talking all over the headsets. So they were trying to distract them as much as possible.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. And the kids absolutely loved it. They got the duo that won wasn't even the people that we thought were going to win. And it really gave us an evaluation of exactly where these guys are. Anyway, went to talk to them afterwards to find out. And we gave the winning team, I think, 2 $50 Visa gift cards, and the next guy got 25. They loved it. In fact, I can't wait to do it again. And it's, oh my God.
Wow.
And that to me was so great because I said it builds team chemistry. And these guys, they're all helping each other. It's just a great work environment. So we're very happy with that.
I like that. So it's almost like just coming up with a set of activities and they have to work together as a team to do it. And then it also evaluates their performance, but it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also too, another thing too, that we do a lot of is that we like to continually to educate our staff. Okay. In the state of Texas, we put together what we call educational tours where we'll get whether it is a game company or whether or not as a food and beverage person, we will send staff, not just the owners and the general manager. We want to send staff because those are the ones that really come in and get so much out of it. Yeah. 2 things. One, it lets them know that we value their working with us. Of course. But it also lets that they also realize that, man, they believe in me and they want me to go. And it works out so good. They come back and they're super excited. And I think that is something that really needs to be expanded upon. And I think the BPAA does a good job with that. They have with their boot camps, things like that. Yep. We do it just like because of our state of Texas. We do it locally within the state of Texas. And then sometimes we'll send people to the boot camps, things like that too.
Okay. Yeah. That helps that they're in Texas too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that. So then do you have like a certain budget that you put towards that, or how do you determine, do you have to be there for a certain amount of time, or how do you determine who gets to go to what?
Yeah, I think it's a judgment call. Well, obviously, I sent one lady to one of our educational things. She was we just hired her as our arcade manager within the week, and boom, she was already a deal. Now, that doesn't happen all the time, but it was something we needed to do. Yeah. But no, I think that, they have to be there a certain amount of time. They have to reach a certain level before they're able to do those things.
Okay. Yeah. And then it's just up to like maybe the manager to recommend them to go up for something like that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I really like those. Getting close to the time. I know I told you I'd only keep you for a half hour. Let's talk a little bit about where you see things going. We talked about the progression of where we are today. Where do you see things going for the next maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years if we really want to go far out?
Yeah, for our business, it's always evolving. It's always evolving. And the industry as itself is evolving. And I think too, one of the challenges, and I talked to a lot of my friends in the industry, more traditional bowl and things like that. You'd be surprised if you looked at your P&L, how much revenue as a percentage is league bowling. And I hate to beat on that, but people are absolutely surprised when they come back going, oh, it's only like 14% or 15%. Everybody thinks, oh, that's 30 years ago was probably 65, 70% of your revenue was all league bowling.
80.
Well, yeah, it's not like that.
It's flipped.
And I think a lot of people get hung up on trying to stop that slide instead of embracing. Even though the league bowling is going down, their center revenues are going up. And it's okay, what do we got to do different? Maybe embrace the other side. I'm not saying you throw league bowling out and just ask the heck of it. I'm not going to. No, you can have your cake and eat it too, but you also need to be able to figure out different ways to do those things. And anyway, I don't want to get off into that because I get in trouble sometimes. I talk too much on that, but I'm just saying, yeah, some of the simple things to do, you maybe put uniforms on your employees, make your place look professional. Everybody says, oh my gosh, I'm just a small little center. So be a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
I'm the only game in town. There's no well, yeah, there is competition. Go across the street and go to Olive Garden or Outback and look how those employees are dressed and how they manage their customers. And then look at yourself and look how you manage your.
Or even in-home entertainment, you're competing against that too. Someone on their phone or sitting in and watching a movie. That's your competition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that more people are starting to realize that now. It's like, oh, but I think that's something that this industry, and you're seeing a lot of businesses in our industry just are blossoming. They're just whoa. But then you also see some that are staying the same and they're not really. And then you see some that are really failing. A lot of people, I think, because of the real estate markets these days, my gosh, some of these people are maybe second, third, fourth generation, and they got this place and it's worth their real estate they're sitting on is worth more 2 or 3 years worth of revenue. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to sell and I'm just going to get out. And I think you see that happening in certain areas.
Yeah, especially if the building's paid off and it's third, fourth generation.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I don't want to work like my dad and my grandfather. I'm gonna get out. So I think you see a lot of that too. But there are some people out there that are taking the bull by the horn and go, man, I see this new evolution of what's going on in these businesses, and I get phone calls from people all the time. And you see, that's another thing too. This is what's so wonderful about our industry, is that people can pick up the phone and call. I remember when we were trying to build Grand Station. I picked up the phone. I called people that they didn't know me and I didn't know them, but I knew they were successful. And this is what I want. I want to pick their brain. I want to ask questions. Yeah. And everybody likes to talk about themselves. That's my favorite subject, right?
Of course. Yeah. Especially if they're doing well.
Exactly. Everybody wants to talk about that. And it's like, all you got to do is just take their ideas and listen to what they do, what they did wrong or what they didn't, or what they did. And I said, you pay it forward. And now I get people calling me all the time, asking me questions. It's very flattering to get those calls. And it's, I'll be more than happy to help you out. As long as you're not next door.
Of course,
You're in 2 towns away or you're an hour drive, 2 hours away. Yeah, I have no problem. I had a friend of mine that just opened up a place back in my town of Huntsville, Texas. He opened up a pizzeria with the game room. He came over to my place lots of times and he showed me the initiative. Like, oh my God. And now he's opened this place up and he is just he's doing well. He followed all the directions that I followed when I was going through it. Yeah. I got him in touch with the right people and he is absolutely loving it. He's never been in this type of industry, but he saw that. Right. He saw kind of, I think your story a little bit, you're seeing what's going on in this industry. It's a great industry to be in. And it's very unique, very unique. So anyway, so that's very fun. I enjoy the heck out of that. So
no, it's great. I love to hear it. Like you said, it is blossoming. We're on a great wave. I hope it lasts for a long time. We're seeing people having some really good years. The last year, this year, a lot of record years. It's great to see.
Yep. And also I want to give one more little shout out too, because we are a family business. My wife and I, we've got this business. My son, he is my general manager. He's 36 years old, young man, and he's got a really good staff, and I'm very proud of what he's done. He's taken what we started 20 years ago, and it's a whole different ballgame of how you manage.
Yeah.
When I was managing and doing the front desk and working in the cafe, I never had to do things that we're asking him to do right now. And I think as we start to evolve, the management styles, everything changes a little bit too, and you have to run it just a little bit differently.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate to have a really good staff in place, and my son has been very instrumental in making that happen too. So
yeah, no, I'd love to touch on that a little bit, because we see it a lot across the industry, is the transfer of management from one generation to the next. What do you have any tips or anything that you've found to be helpful as far as cultivating that next generation of leadership, or what's the best way to go about it?
Yeah, that's a great question, because here, and I read this somewhere, and that is so true. My wife and I, we pretty much sacrificed everything to build what we have right now in College Station. Okay. We took our savings, we scrimped, we saved, we did everything to get into this business, to build what it is right now. Okay. When I was working, I worked weekends, holidays, every night.
Right.
That's just what we had to do, that because okay. Now it's so much different. And I think this is where I got hung up, and I'm trying real hard not to. And I think a lot of people in the industry, you watch your son, he's raising a family, doing a great job, God-fearing person, goes to church, all this stuff. He's not required to work weekends. He's not required to work the evenings. I'm not asking him to put in sweat equity like his mother and I did. And that's where sometimes you go, he's off again. It's, oh my God. And the mindset that we have is, okay, it's not like it was 20 years ago, 30 years. So like I said, his expectation and what we're asking him to do is to manage what we have built. We're not asking him to come in and build and then try and manage. We're not asking him to sacrifice. Okay, we're asking him to go in there and take what we have right now with management skills. We do a lot of training, but that I think is where a lot of people, and I say myself included, and I have to really watch myself to not feel like, oh, gosh, I have to work. When I was 30 years ago, I had to work Christmas
back in my day. Yeah.
So in that respect, it's different today. Depending on your business model and what you're doing, we're very fortunate to have a business that we're able to have more management and things like that too. I guess that would be the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway, what we've had to adjust to. And it makes sense. And it makes sense too, because so now we're trying to give him more tools to manage what he has right now. Right. It's a whole different ball.
Yeah, no, that's very astute. I like that you see it as just because you had to do something doesn't mean that's required of him, because that's not what the situation calls for. I think that's really astute and self-reflective to know that you don't need to project that onto him. Because that's not the situation he's in.
But that ain't easy. That's not easy.
I'm sure it's not when he's there with you on the holiday. Yeah.
And also, and I learned this too, is that a lot of family businesses, they go through generations. And I was with we had a vendor come in, and my son and I were sitting down talking to the vendor. So I introduced myself, and then I've been introduced my son. And he goes, oh, so you're the generation that's going to let this thing fall apart.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay. I think what he was trying to say, and it makes sense, because a lot of businesses, like we were talking to a little while ago, some third and fourth generation, they didn't build it. They didn't manage it.
Yeah.
They just basically
they don't know what went into it.
Yeah, and they're just sharing in all the revenue, and they're not even worried about how to build. They never give another thought. And that's really that. I tried, and I'm thinking, okay, my grandson, great kid. And I'm going, okay, is he going to be the one? Is he going to want to take over the business? I don't know. But if that's the case, you hope he has a passion that I do, and then my son does too. You just never ever know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something you just kind of have to instill, and there's always an element of hope, right?
Yeah.
On an answered question.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I really like that. So yeah, let's finish out. I know I promised you it wouldn't be too long. I wanted to ask two things before we go. Just the first would be what your biggest challenge is today.
I wouldn't like to say this, but unfortunately, it's maintaining staff. We've been able to, nothing that I'm doing, it's my staff and my management team is putting together. Keeping staff engaged and keeping them. I'm sure you hear the stories all over. So this guy interviewed great. He came out, went to the Orient, and man, he's ready to start and never shows up.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of that. We have probably turnover, but not as much as we used to. It's getting better, but it's still a lot of turnover in staff and being able to hire people. That's the biggest challenge, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd say, 9 out of 10, maybe 19 out of 20 people, that's it, staffing. But a lot of times it's getting people to work, to even show up.
Yes.
If you're if you're further down the line, then it's the retention piece and the engagement.
And the other thing too is supply. Trying to get
Mhm.
supplies. The redemption game room right now that we have, gosh, that is so difficult to. And the
Yeah.
staff,
Still,
we got the main guys out there, the Rhode Island, BMI,
yeah,
Redemption Plus, all those companies, they do all those things, but yet we still go to Walmart, Target.
yeah,
We go,
right.
we have so many, because everybody asks me, well, Mike, where do you get your supplies from? It depends on what you're looking for. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah. How urgent?
yeah, you can't just be married to one supplier. You have to reach out. We're having some issues right now. We ordered, I think it was 10,000 logoed Bobby balls, these big 18 inches for our big
Yeah.
crane. That was back in January.
Oh,
And we've been told that, okay, it's here, but it's sitting out on a port somewhere, sitting out on a ship, and it hasn't been taken off yet. You hear these stories all the time. So we got that. We have bowling machine issues. We try and we're able to supply and keep backups for getting parts. Yeah. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And
you see that? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Is that something you're getting better, worse, the same? Or I've heard a little bit of each, just depending on what it is. Do you see that improving or is that getting worse?
It's staying about the same.
Okay.
You keep thinking, okay, look, this pandemic's over and this and that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get real political with some of the stuff here, but man, something's got to give.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we have this.
Yeah.
I do understand too. There's one manufacturer of video games. He's having some issues because he can't get staff, or that company cannot get staff.
Yeah.
And they're falling way behind. So when they come up with these new games,
they can't even get them.
You can't get them.
Yeah. And it's a lot of that stuff. I think it's the delayed factor of it. Like one thing causes a delay to the next, and then you got to start from the beginning and then it trickles back through. I think we were hoping for 6 to 9 months recovery from the supply chain, and we're still in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the last thing I wanted to ask you before we go is just what would be your number one piece of advice for either a new proprietor or proprietor who's looking to at a crossroads, wants to make a decision on what to double down on? What would be your biggest advice to that proprietor?
I would do my homework. I would look out and say, okay, and this is nothing too, we're at a crossroads in our industry. Okay. Either you're doing it for the love of the sport of bowling, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Or you're doing it as a business. Okay. If you're going to do it as a business, okay, you've got to be able to figure out the different revenue streams that are available in your industry. You have to take what you have and be willing to make the change. A lot of people have made some game rooms, own your own video games, but you got to make sure that you've got the space available.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people have more space in their centers than they really realize.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because it used to be that people get through bowling the first shift, they'd go sit in the bar and they'd all have fun, drinks. Like that. Those days are kind of gone. It's like, okay, you may have 1,000 square foot of just sitting empty that's used for storage. Okay. Well, look at your place. And it's like, gosh, if I could move this wall here, take this wall out, I could do this, I could do that. Be willing to do those things and talk to people that are doing the things that you want to do, that are successful. Go out there and ask questions. Go out there and look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
I got a quick story. I got a friend of mine. This happened about 5 years after I built my place here in College Station. And he's a friend of mine. He's got some centers in the state of Texas. And he finally decided to take out his game room. He did it was a risky thing. He took his pool tables out, which were like making a few $100s a month just off of that.
Yeah.
But he was willing to take that space, open it up, put in. He went out and I think borrowed like $150,000, went out there and bought his games, did all this stuff. And after about a month of opening up, he calls me up and he's so mad. And I said, what do you mean? He said, how come you didn't make me do this years before? I said, I don't know what to tell you. But this is a true story. We talk about this all the time. And now he's prospering. And it's, oh my God. And he's in a small town. But let me tell you, he is doing really well. And like I said, you have to be able to look at this thing and look at your business objective. I was talking earlier. Step back and look at what's going on and how could you improve. If you have, there's help all out there. There's proven track records of places that have done these things. Find out who has and talk to them and say, hey, what do you think about this? Whatever. And you will be surprised. That would be my one big advice. But if you're doing it for the love and the sport of bowling and you want to be able to have leagues, that's fine. And I'm fine with that too. It'd be great to be able to do both.
Right. Yeah. Who's to say you can't?
Yeah. See, I get in trouble because a lot of my people want to have league. They want to have tournaments on weekends. There's no way. And I was like, look,
Opportunity
can't-
cost.
Yeah, I can't tell people, look, this is how much money I make on a weekend. If I did a tournament, I'm cutting my profits way. I got 130 employees. I got 15 managers, salary managers, and I'm having to pay their staff. I said,
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
is why you have great service. This is why you have a nice place to bowl. And I can't go back and do those things.
Yeah.
I would say yes. It's a decision that you have to make when it comes to.
Yeah, no, I really like that it's not about what's better, which is best kind of thing. Cause I think that sometimes that's a confusion. It becomes an argument about what's the better way to do it. It's more about a decision is which way do you want to go? Cause
Yeah.
either one is right. It's just a matter of which one do you want.
Yeah. And
I like that.
And I'm seeing more and more centers nationwide that are looking out and they're going, oh my God, I need to become this. And I've watched people that have been traditional bowlers for many years have come back and they look at, and they've called me and I'm not opposed to sharing information with some of these people. And when I share this, they're like, you're kidding me. I said, no, it's really true. I said, I never would have seen this, but
right.
So no, we were very blessed, very fortunate place, right time where we are right now. So
yeah. And you put in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, I really appreciate it, Mike. This has been an awesome discussion. I'm sure we could go on for a long time, but I keep it at the half-hour mark. For anyone who is interested in reaching out and learning more, asking questions about how you've gotten there, what's the best way for them to reach out to you if they want to connect other proprietors?
They can call me or not call me, but they can reach me through my website or not by my website, but my email is MikeGrandStation.com.
Okay.
So I have no problems at all talking to anybody if they have any questions. They can call the center, leave a message, and I get back to them. I call people.
Awesome.
You were able to get in touch with me, right?
That's right. It worked out for me.
It took a little while. It took a little while, but
we
you were
got there. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I can attest that you will get back, and very generous with your time. I really appreciate it, Mike.
All right, sir.
Yep. All right. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Thanks,